The EGR valve returns a predetermined volume of exhaust to the combustion chamber. The EGR valve stands for Exhaust Gas Recirculation Valve, and this explains what it does. Performance as a whole benefits from the exhaust being circulated in several ways. The fuel-to-air ratio is first optimized without using more intake air. Additionally, compared to fresh air, exhaust has a different chemical composition. Because of the combustion chamber's new chemical composition, which keeps it up to 150 degrees Celsius cooler, the engine runs more efficiently and produces cleaner exhaust. The EGR valve knows when to open and close to maximize performance because it is sensor-driven. However, issues arise when these sensors malfunction or the EGR valve becomes stuck. Let's take a closer look at the most common signs of bad EGR. It's the Car Problems YouTube channel. Subscribe and let's get started. Check engine light. Numerous sensors keep an eye on your engine's efficiency, emission, and even the operation of the exhaust gas recirculation valve. You'll get a check engine light whether it's blocked, stuck open, or stuck closed. This valve is typically where the check engine light will direct you, but it is possible that the light could come on as a result of a symptom rather than a cause. For instance, even though the issue is caused by a malfunctioning EGR valve, you might still get a check engine light that indicates excessive exhaust chemicals or misfires. Decreased fuel consumption. The right amount of exhaust is returned to the combustion chamber by your EGR valve. This has several benefits, including lowering the temperature of the combustion chamber and increasing efficiency. However, if the EGR valve is stuck open, the engine will draw an air that has already been detected by the MAF sensor, which results in a lean air-fuel mixture and lower fuel usage. Although it may seem like a good symptom, this can harm your engine. Rough idle. You will experience a rough idle if your EGR valve is stuck open, especially if your car hasn't warmed up yet. That's because usually, this device starts in the closed position. However, if the valve is stuck shut, you'll experience more issues while the engine is idling after it has warmed up. That's because the EGR valve is typically open at that time, recirculating exhaust to reduce the combustion chamber's overall temperature. Reduced power. An engine that has been optimized increases engine performance as well as fuel efficiency. If the exhaust gas recirculation valve is stuck closed, you'll notice the issue more at slower speeds, and if it's stuck open, you'll notice it more at faster speeds. You may also observe that your acceleration has changed and is now jerky or rough. Increased emissions. Since your EGR valve's main objective is to reduce emission, you can anticipate that if it's malfunctioning, your overall emissions will rise. In fact, if this device is broken, your car will almost certainly fail an emissions test. Engine knock. The fact that the EGR valve actually lessens engine knocking is one of the thing's lesser-known benefits. The fuel won't ignite before it should by maintaining a lower temperature in the combustion chamber. Even though this won't always occur if your EGR valve is broken, the likelihood increases noticeably if the valve is stuck shut. Keep an ear out to hear if there is any knocking if your check engine light is on because your recirculation valve is malfunctioning. Before any additional damage occurs, you must, if you can, make repairs. Replacement cost. Depending on the vehicle you drive and the shop you take it to for repairs, the average cost to replace an EGR valve ranges from $225 to $800. The part itself should cost between $150 and $400, and labor should cost between $75 and $400. But check to see if you can clean the valve first before replacing it. Take it off and clean with a wire brush and carb cleaner. You will save yourself a few $100s if this works. However, there are both good news and bad news if you isolate your issue to the EGR valve, and cleaning it doesn't solve the problem. The good news is that it's simple to replace even with only rudimentary technical knowledge. The bad news is that for such a small part, the valve itself is a little more expensive than you might anticipate. Hope the information was useful for you. If so, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel.